Welcome back to Word Blindness, Dyslexia Exposed. I'm Juliette Hahn here with my co-host Brent Sopel. How are you on this Monday morning?
It's not hump day like the elephant?
Like the camel. Yep, yep, yep,
No. You remember you called it an elephant.
I did because I couldn't fucking see. So many things when you get to 50 start going out of the shitter, and that was one of them. I was like, as I said on the episode, I wanted to get close, and then I was like, oh, that's going to be a really close shot. No one wants to see that. So I was like, oh, look at the elephant. Oh, that's still a camel. It went to the side.
At the beginning, at the middle, at the end, still a camel.
Still a camel. And camels and elephants don't look anything alike at all.
Unless you're 50 and blind.
Then like the hump kind of looks like an ear. The head kind of looks like a nose. That's where I was going.
And then Grandma was talking about your you love your elephants to do your impersonations.
Well, maybe that's what I was saying, right? I was like, oh, here's a perfect time to make an elephant noise.
That's what you wanted to do, clearly.
I love those elephants. Well, I feel like the last number of episodes have been stuff that I've been going through.
Oh, I knew you were going there.
So, but one of the things I have to say that I think is so good about this podcast, not to toot our own horns, but I'm going to, is the learning of experiences that we have. Like, we are in a spot where we can educate others because of our own experiences. And it actually is really interesting as they keep coming out. It's like, oh, okay, here's another experience parents and kids and people with the 5Ds can learn from. And it's not, I'm going to go unicorn here. It's not always, I mean, it's things that are brought to us because we're supposed to be sharing on what, you know, the outcomes or how we're navigating it. And so I'm going to bring it to the Disabilities Act that is out there, that we all that are diagnosed with any of the 5Ds can actually go, and a lot of us don't, right? We know that it's out there, but I don't know that a lot of people that I even talk to know the details of it in certain things with the workforce when you're in college. And so I'm going to kind of leave it to you to kind of set up the last couple of weeks, the things that you've learned. I mean, you knew, but then you were able to implement them. Yeah. Things that you have known that you were able to actually put into action, which is kind of cool.
So obviously we talked about, last couple of episodes, your journey with Truman, getting him diagnosed, obviously, being a junior in high school, feeling some, regrets and, shittiness as a mom, and, and obviously the last couple of weeks I've had my own journey, personal journey, with somebody obviously in my family talking about they're in college. I've learning disorders also, and now what is it? November 18th, right?
It's crazy.
The semester is almost over for college kids. Mm-hmm. They'll be home in a couple weeks. And when's Montgomery come home?
He actually comes home for Thanksgiving, and because his school is mostly international because of the sports, he gets to stay home and take his finals online.
Oh, so he comes home next week and he's home for like 8 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm very excited.
I was just going to say.
Don't get me started. I'm giggling. Okay. I'm like jumping out of my seat, excited.
It's so, college kids are just about, finishing up the first semester, right? So they're going to go back after Christmas and the New Year and start the second semester. Well, I got word of they went in the middle of August with their neuropsych, to get the accommodations that they're legally allowed to have. And we talk about here on this podcast all the time, foreign language. I can't do the first language, so how the hell are you going to try and get me to do the second language? Fuck you, right? So took that to the school. And as of, I guess, I'm just trying to pull up the calendar. As of It was the 11th, the 8th, 11th of November. They still haven't responded.
She has to take it, and she's graduating soon, so it's not like she has like time where they had time to be like, oh, you could take it in another year or whatever. We haven't made the decision. This is like
graduating in could graduate at the end of summer if it took some summer classes with the 4-year degree. So haven't responded. Failed to respond to a couple emails. Now, you go into their Disabilities Center or whatever. I don't know what the terminology they have in there for
in that school, right?
In that school was I went down there. I think there's 19 people working in that area. There's a head, and then it goes down to, and then you got student, teacher, or whatever they call it. I don't know the exact. One out of the 19 had the credentials to be working there. One was like a bachelor's in English, and one's a bachelor's in science. Nothing to do with learning disorders, nothing to do with special ed, nothing to do with disabilities. So getting paid whatever they are, trying to help people that they have no credentials to help with. So obviously that sent me through the roof.
Rightfully so.
They're each assigned a certain guidance counselor they have in school. They have in the disability center, they each have their own guidance counselor. We'll use those words. That guidance counselor had zero clue what she was doing because she has no credentials. They said, when she brought the foreign language aspect up, she's like, this is over my pay grade. I don't know. Took it to her boss, and her boss said, stop poking the bear where the bear doesn't need to be poked. Never mind. So also with dysgraphia, as you well know, the notes are supposed to be given to them before every class. Her guidance counselor, we're going to use that as a reference, said, well, you're going to get pushback because not all teachers want to apply. They want to do what they want to do. So for you to say those words tells me you've got zero fucking clue to be working in there, because this is under federal law. This is the Disabilities Act by the federal government. You have no choice.
Right.
It's not, the teacher doesn't have a fucking choice. The teacher, this is by the federal government. This is the Disabilities Act. Oh, they don't have to comply. Oh, yes, they do have to comply. And for you to be a guidance counselor working with, individuals with learning disorders, that's what you say?
Ignorant. That's what it is.
So you're getting paid whatever you're getting paid, and you have no clue how to do your job. So you shouldn't be there. How does a school that big with as many students going there, as prestigious as this place is, you've got 18 out of 19 people have no business of being in there and working for those kids?
Mm-hmm.
And to say you're going to get pushback, the only pushback you're going to get is a fucking punch in the face because you don't know your job. So how, and how, and they make you, and this is what it is they make you feel bad. Oh, I'm sorry for asking. I shouldn't ask. My fault. What's wrong with me? I'm sorry. That's my fault. I'm sorry. It's my fault. Make us feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Make us feel less than worthless. So they can have their job easier. So that teacher, whatever that is, that doesn't want to apply. Remember, most people that are professors or teachers, school was easy to them. Not all, not saying everybody, for the most part. You're not going to go and be a professor and be in school 8 years, or because it was, it was miserable. on top of your 12 years of school? No. So, you talked about the Disabilities Act. Know what you're legally allowed, and never take what they say to heart. Because you remember, we talk about school being a business. A college is even 100 times more of a business. They don't care about your son. They don't care about your daughter, about your grandson, your granddaughter. They don't care. They care about making money. And that person, whoever, that's working there for, in 18 and 19, they don't care about your kids. Because you would know everything inside and out. You would never say. And she, they also had a meeting about the foreign language after she said it's above my pay grade. And there was another meeting had, and family member questioned, if this is above your pay grade, why isn't your bosses in here so we can get that answered? She's like, oh yeah, that's probably a good idea. Really? You fucking think? Mm-hmm. So these are the games that they play with you, with your self-esteem. They twist it on you. So I had to send an email to the school regarding the foundation, what we do and who we are and how we advocate, for this. Lo and behold, 1 week later, she got the approval that she was allowed to. So doesn't have to take a foreign language, but has to take another English. 'Cause it's not like we're asking for our degree in whatever in less credits. We're not asking that. We'll do the exact same amount of credits, whatever that ends up being. No problem. But
let's for a substitute.
Right. We'll substitute. So she had to substitute, a foreign language in for another English. Perfect. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. But why did it take me 3 months? We got Easter, Thanksgiving is it next week? We have Easter next week, right? Thanksgiving.
Do you want it to be Easter?
Well, because Thanksgiving was last month, the real Thanksgiving.
The Canadian Thanksgiving.
So why did it take me? What they tried to do was just ignore it. It took me, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, that email was pretty respectful, right? Wasn't an asshole. Like, obviously, the original email that I wrote did get changed. Grandma stepped in and helped out. We had some extra eyeballs to look at this. But, so everybody listening out there, like, all we're trying to do is level the playing field for us. You're trying to hit a baseball when you're 10 feet in a hole 10 feet deep. That's not the same. Or, Bonds and those guys talking about steroids. You're hitting balls, home runs with steroids, but nobody else is. Is that fair? Let's just all have steroids then to be, we're just asking for level playing field. And we are allowed to, by the federal government, to have certain recommendations and accommodations for whatever we have. Is that dyslexia? Is that dysgraphia? Dyspraxia? Is that ADHD? Every one of us. We just have to know what that is. But always, again, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer when it comes to the education system and who's in control. But they find ways around not giving us what we want, what we deserve, and what we need, not want. Excuse me for using that, because that's definitely not what it is. It's what
we would rather not have to need anything, right?
Yeah.
No, I hear you, but yes.
And then we can talk a little bit. Thank God Ashley is at Newberry, with Montgomery. But look how much stuff that you have gone through to come off the heels of this, and you've got support. You've got somebody there like Ashley.
Yeah. Thank God. Oh my gosh, thank God. Well, I want to touch on a few things that you said because I think are really important. That are really important to highlight. And one of them is when we have to advocate for ourselves. We don't, let's think about personalities, right? Some personalities like to get into like some tussles. I don't mind a good tussle. I'll come in and I'll argue, but my nature, I have to say, as I've gotten older, is I know I have to do that in some atmospheres, right?
Can I bridge into what you
Please.
just said?
Yeah.
100%. But a lot of people don't know how to advocate for themselves.
Right.
Because this is exactly what happened. I had to explain to them why I want to send the email. This is why. They're like, no, I don't want to fight. I'm like, no. I'm not trying to start a fight.
Right.
I'm trying to stop a fight. And I had to say it, a few different ways, and this is one of the ones I said. I said, well, if I go and kick, a student out of the wheelchair, kick him over, that's not right. Right? That's wrong. Mm-hmm. This is the same idea with not giving you the recommendations that you're supposed to have.
Right.
You're like,
right.
So to your point was, a lot of people don't even know how to advocate for the self and what that you and I, we can advocate all day long because we've lived it, but the parents going in or the kids going in, they get bamboozled because they don't have the full understanding to advocate for themselves.
Yeah. And it's also like someone that has glasses, another thing, like, right. You take the person's glasses off and you're like, you still have to take the test next to someone that can see.
Is that what happens to you every day?
I should be wearing my glasses. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it's very simple. It's not that like we're trying to do more things. And to bridge off what you said is a lot of people don't know how to advocate for themselves. They don't want to be the one that stand out because you're constantly, especially if you're diagnosed when you're earlier, it's like, oh my God, I have to have the one that has iPad.
I'm that kid.
Or I'm that parent, or now I'm adult, right? I always have to be the squeaky wheel. And there's times, I mean, how many times have I said to you since we've known each other now for over 2 years, I've said to you, I'm just tired of fighting, right? Now, I have the personality that I actually don't mind doing it. I think I probably was even like, I was born that way. You were born definitely that way.
Whoa. What are you trying to tell? What are you trying to say?
A little feisty, like, but that's our personality. And that's why I love personality tests. That's why I love all that. There's people that have the 5 Ds that don't have that. They don't want to stand out. They don't want to be that person. They don't want to advocate for themselves. Remember when, go ahead, because you have something I know you have to say.
No, I just wanted to go out. I've never had that personality. I was always, I'll fit. No, you know what?
Okay, I know.
Obviously, hockey, you get into, we fight, right? That's hockey. But this side of things, I was never like this. I was always, how can I make it better? How can I make it better? I don't want anybody mad at me. How do I do this?
Right.
Like, how do I do this?
As a kid, yes.
As a kid growing up, obviously, I've become feisty. That's why I started the foundation, why I get angry, and that's why you hear me say things, I'm going to beat shit out of people and punch teachers, is because of my trauma. But I never want a kid to get to that, and have these traumas that I do.
Right. And so, yes. And I didn't mean that, like, right, you were always feisty because you wanted to hide. But I have to say, when I was younger, I wanted to hide, but I had a little bit more feisty where, like, if a teacher messed with me, I would have called them out. Not all the time. Yeah. But there's people.
I never would have.
Right.
I would hide. I would cower.
Cower more. Yeah.
I'd cower. Yeah. I could put myself in a box. I was scared.
Right. And so I think there are people, right, because of learned experiences that we know you have to do it because you have to be the squeaky wheel to get what you want. Now we take it back to when Montgomery was diagnosed, right? I went into that school like, Mom, they're friends of ours. Like, what are you talking about? Kathy would never, and Mary would, like, they would 100% do the right thing. because I really believe that people do the right thing. Now, when someone doesn't do the right thing and I see that, I'll rip a fucking head off. I'll rip your face off and your head. Because that is my personality. So like if I see things that are not like the like people doing the wrong, like, oh, we don't need to, no, they're not complaining, then I will advocate for those people because that's my personality. That's why I was put on this earth, to be that person that will stand up, right? So think about even Montgomery when he was going to pick his, thank goodness, right? He has Ashley and he had to go and pick his accommodations. And he was like, Mom, can we jump on the phone? I was like, yeah, sure. And as he's reading the accommodations, he's like, oh, maybe I don't need that one. Oh, for fuck's sake, I need that one. And I was like, I'm not saying anything because I'm like, I'm just going to sit there. He's like, I might as well just check all of them. And I was like, yes, honey, you might as well check all of them. And it was like, one of them was like sitting close. So he's like, I don't want to have to sit in the front. And he's like, you know what? If I need help, I'll just sit. So he did that. But that's him being a little bit more mature, right? A couple years ago, he would have been like, no way. Like, no, I don't want to be that kid again. I don't want to be that kid. I'm so tired of being that kid. So the Disabilities Act, when you have institutions, and I don't want to say like they're like, oh, like they do it on purpose, because I don't think anyone wakes up and is like, let's go fuck someone. Not in a good way. let's screw someone up day. No, but they're told don't go above and beyond, right? But there's so it's, you have to know those laws, because you're going to go in, someone's going to say, no, sorry, I can't do that for you. And you don't want to be the person that's like, well, wait a second. No, I actually do, because the other person on the other side might be someone that doesn't mind conflict. And then you're in an argument and it's like, oh my gosh, like this is so uncomfortable. I just need what I want to get. So they bow down, right? Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to. Maybe I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know. And then you're the kid that has the 5 Ds that is now working harder in class because you're not getting your accommodations, because the person at the front desk didn't know the laws and was like, oh, I have to deal with someone again. Maybe they hate their job. Maybe they hate their life, whatever it is. And so you have to constantly advocate for yourself.
And to that, I wouldn't, I'm not here to say a lot of it is they don't have the understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
So as you reference in your potty mouth is go fuck somebody.
Right. They didn't wake up and say, hey.
No, and I don't think that.
Fuck a couple students. Fuck them up. I shouldn't say that. Let me put that.
And I don't ever think of that.
Yeah.
They find they don't have understanding about us and who we are. So they can't relate to us. So we get tossed aside. Mm-hmm. Now, relatability, how many times, so I think, and that's why I referenced earlier, when I started going off here, is 18 of the 19 people don't even have any classes or anything to do with special, like, so
yeah,
they don't have any understanding to have the empathy or a little bit of the understanding or care that goes with us.
Mm-hmm. And then you do get
I'm getting old. I'm getting wrinkly here.
We're going to be 48 soon. And then you get the people that maybe are the squeaky wheels that don't actually, they take advantage, right? So there is the people that take advantage. And so you might be the person behind, in line, the person that, just got taken advantage. So the person that's trying to help, like that's supposed to help you is like, oh, another person trying to, pull the wool over the system. And that's what sucks. Like, that's where we're always like, just do the right thing. Just everyone be normal. Like, don't take advantage. Why? And so it gets all this mixed bag. And so you can't be like, place blame all in one place, right? We're never doing that. There's like so many things that are put together here. Yeah. But if you have the knowledge, and that's really what it is. If you have the knowledge and are like, okay, and have people like yourself and the foundation that can help a little bit, like, hey, I know you're in this situation, let me help. But for 3 months, this person has been stressing over, oh my gosh, I might have to take a foreign language, or I might have to do this, might have to do that. Right.
So you've got, and so you're 100%, you're correct on everything. Oh, there might be somebody taking care, trying to bend the system. Okay, learning, obviously dyslexia is 1 in 5, learning disability is 1 in 6. So look at the amount of kids that more kids are affected. So if there's somebody trying to take advantage, 1 or 2 kids over here, I'm not, again, I'm not saying just let them go and get away with it, right? But you're focusing so much energy in the wrong place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, you're talking, 5 out of 20 kids, right, have something more than that.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not saying, just let them get away with it. No, but they're focusing so much energy on the littlest things this way, but then they'll let us go that way.
Yeah.
Where we don't come back.
Right. And I mean, referencing again, Newberry and Ashley, I did a lot of research. I had my experience where I didn't have a lot of support in school, right? And so I was navigating it myself and figuring out, obviously that's when I was diagnosed with a lot of stuff as well. So that was really important to me, being able to find that, because I was like, most schools have a disability center, right? And it will say like learning disabilities or whatever, or some sort of just a handicap disability, whatever it is. And that's where we as the foundation really want to help break it down, because it is really important. There's schools that will say, oh yes, we have knowledge, we have a disability center. Yeah. But
just go back off the 18 and the 19 people that we just referenced don't have anything. Go ahead.
Right. And so it's like, okay, find that school that maybe says, I have a dyslexic. I mean, we're so fortunate because Ashley is dyslexic. I mean, that was a godsend. As I'm Googling, I fucking need to find something.
And how hard was it to find any information on any of that?
Well, the thing that's crazy is Montgomery wanted warm. He wanted like a D2 school. So I had like a very specific search that I was like, let me just see. And then I was like, oh, this is so interesting. I've never even heard of this. So they had a dyslexic program. That was the second year.
What did that, what was the heading? Dyslexic program?
It says, it was a dyslexic. I actually need to now look it up. If you go, it's, hold on one second, I will look. It is, talk while I'm looking.
No, because there's, and let's just go back to, drinks, coconut water, obviously that's the fastest way to rehydrate, hangovers, being sick, but you'll get, like Bach, for an example, dyslexic program. Yeah.
It was a dyslexic program.
Instead, it says, coconut concentrate or right. Yeah. So there's different ways to use that terminology to get around it. So that's why I asked that question. Dyslexic program, does it have dyslexic support, or so there's ways that people can, just like I can say I'm the number one principal in the world, right? Self-proclaimed, right? There's nobody out there that monitoring it. So, along with these words.
Right. And so when this popped up, I was like, oh my God. And then I was reading it. I was like, this is incredible. Now, so for like foreign language, because in South Carolina, that's not waived, right? That was the first thing I said. Like, Montgomery kept getting emails like, okay, you have to take your Spanish. Montgomery's like, I haven't taken a foreign language because he's been waived. Because that was one of the things very early on. I was like, oh honey, I failed every foreign language. And then, out of Yale where it says you don't have to take it, I was like, we're running with this. You're not taking a foreign language. And so Ashley just said to me, I'm handling it. You guys don't worry about the emails. And I was like, great. Mm-hmm. I love that because I don't want to have to worry about the emails. And so, and a couple of times Montgomery's like, Mom, and I was like, I know you keep getting it. Ignore it. He's like, great. So we are very fortunate with that because we have an advocate that is there doing it because she has knowledge, but not only does she have knowledge, she also has the 5 Ds, right? Or not all
5 Ds?
She does not have all 5 Ds.
She doesn't have dyspraxia.
No, she does not have dyspraxia. So I think she might have 3 of the 5 Ds. We have to ask her. Because I don't think she's dyscalculia. I don't think she's dysgraphia.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think she's dysgraphia either.
I don't know if she's ADHD. No, she might be. I know her daughter's got 4 of the 5 Ds or 3 of the 5 Ds. Yeah, she might have 3 of the 5 Ds. But so she has the understanding. and she's fought. And, and as we say, like, people don't go into education. She fought because she is also a feisty one, right? She is like, I will fight, I will advocate. She is, in there
And I
doing
think
that.
that terminology, what you just said both those words. Instead of, the word fight and that, advocate, I think it's
Advocate.
right. I think the advocate word is the key word to use. We're not here to fight. We're not trying to start a fight. We're not trying.
No,
We're not trying to. We're a barroom brawl. We're not on the ice line brawl. We're here to advocate.
Right.
I think that's better terminology.
No, you're right. Because fighting, that sounds like aggressive.
I'm good with aggressive, but
I know. Sometimes
it separates both. We're not. We're here to stop a fight, not start a fight.
Exactly. And I love that so much because, we're here to create, and then the awareness of it, but advocate, because there's things that are just going to make people's lives easier.
Right.
The self-esteem, the understanding, the relatability, all the things that you say with the foundation. And knowledge is power, period. I mean, that is period. We say that all the time. And it's in every aspect of your life. When you have knowledge, you have power, and you're more confident as a human to be able to approach something. It doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
And there's no ifs, ands, and buts are there. So the fact that you were able to get that letter out and just be like, well, this is actually the law. This is actually required, right? Now, one of the things that I think is interesting that kind of came up with this is also private, because I said to you, well, I don't even know I have to write, like, that's just isn't, they have to do it. And you're like, no, because private university versus public university versus what people follow versus states, because some states don't, this is not a federal, it's not a federal law that you don't have to take a foreign language.
That's a whole
that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast. But it's, and what this is your feelings are deserved. And I mean, like, you're not wrong with your feelings, no matter what, no matter how those feelings are, good, bad, different, left, right, center, your feelings are your feelings. But, don't make anybody make you feel guilty or feel bad for having this. We are who we are. Yes, I got 4 out of the 5, right? People make me feel bad all the time. Don't.
Yeah.
We are who we are.
True. And that's really true. And that's a really important statement, because unfortunately, when you do learn different, there are people along the way. You get teachers that huff, that roll their eyes, that make you feel shit. Make you feel shit. And there's times where they don't mean to, they just are not, they don't have the self-awareness to realize how deep. And that's where, when people just say, oh, isn't dyslexia just flipping your B's and D's? It goes way deeper than that. And whether you were diagnosed early, you're going to have less scars. I mean, that's the other reason why we started Word Blindness, is the reason why you started the foundation, to give less scars than you have had, than I have had, but you're still going to go through it. I mean, Montgomery still had teachers that made him, even special ed teachers that made him feel less than, because some people suck, period.
Well, I think I've told this story. Again, majority, not saying all, of special ed teachers don't have the 5 Ds, or don't have this, or don't have that. So no, they don't have the full understanding of what you're talking about, or what you need, or what you're advocating for. Always remember that. The individual, now let's just talk about the 5 Ds. I've never met a superintendent. I've never met a dean, a principal, or a teacher to this time that have had my 4 of the 5 Ds. Okay. So they have no clue what I'm talking about, but they're going to tell me what that I need. So always remember that the individual, it's like going to, a foreign country. When I lived in Russia, I'll never forget that when I was at McDonald's, trying to order McDonald's for the first time in Russia. It took like 10 minutes. They didn't have pictures. There was, I went Big Mac and fries. What? And French fries in Russia is katushki free. Oh, what the fuck? It's French fries, not katushki free. So it's the same thing when you're talking to one of those individuals I mentioned. You're literally like talking the same language. It took probably 10 minutes. Oh, I can, and bread is clap. I'm like, I went over and we're at a restaurant, they had basket bread. I went over and got the basket, brought it over. I'm like,
right. You do sign language.
Right. But, as funny was, it got frustrating after 10 minutes of trying to do it. Right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Same kind of aspect when you walk in that school, no matter if you're where you are in the world, no matter what school it is, no matter what level it is, middle school or high school or college. That's kind of how you were speaking to them, or you talk so slow. Do you understand what I am saying?
Or you say it louder and you use your hands, right? And you're in a foreign country. Right. I always talk louder. Dan's always like, they're not deaf. I was like, oh, that's true. Loud and slow.
Right. So same kind of aspect when you walk in to advocate, for your kids or for yourself.
Yep. We're just going to leave it at that. I think that's good. All right, guys, don't forget to go to the sopelfoundation.org, donate, because that's what makes us, makes us move, make us be able to do what we want to do. We have big goals. We have a lot of stuff in the plans, lots of stuff in the plans. You guys have heard us talk about the golf event, Stanley Cup dinner. There's going to be another event that we will give you guys more information later. But that golf event happens every fall. We'll have other, again, things that are going to be repeating that are going to be really fun, but it is really important to, when you are donating, to think, okay, it's not just flipping your B's and D's. There's a lot more to the 5 Ds than just being like, okay, I learn a little different, or I do this a little different. And we're trying to really advocate for those kids in the chairs, the kids that are in schools right now in areas that they have no understanding of the 5 Ds. And these kids are going in like with stomach aches because it's like, oh my God, got to go through school. I could start sweating and maybe throw up in my mouth a little bit even thinking about it. So we're going to leave it at that.
Thanks for that image.
I know, really. I was like, oh, where am I going with this? I don't like it. So you guys know what to do. Like, rate, review, and share, because you don't know who is going through this right now. You don't know who in your world has a college student or doesn't know about the Disabilities Act and doesn't know their rights, actually, their actual God-given rights to when you have diagnosis of any of the 5 Ds. So again, like, rate, review, and share, and we'll see you for another episode of Word Blindness Dyslexia Exposed.